senior officials of the provincial government, municipal managers, and officials from local government. Can we mute our videos and our mics as we get into the meeting? My name is Mahlubandile Kwase. I'm the director of this program today. We are now going to start our session. Can we ensure that as we enter into this platform, we mute our videos and we mute our mics so that I don't hear your conversations. We are now going to hand over to Reverend Sotan to open this session with a short prayer. Over to you, Mr. Sotan. You can unmute your video and your mic.
Thank you, Program Director, Tata Ukwase, the Honorable Premier, the Honorable MECs, the DG, the HODs, and all the public servants. I am just going to read the word of God and then we pray. I'm going to read from Indumiso, Psalms, chapter 1, verse 2. It says, Usikelelwe yena ononelela ngomyalelo kaYehova, ecamanga ngomyalelo wakhe imini nobusuku. The English version, blessed is the one whose delight is in the law of the Lord and who meditates on his law day and night. May the Lord bless the reading of his word. Thixo alisikelele ilizwi lakhe, siyalamkela ilizwi lakhe. Apha before sithandaze ndizakwenza le migca nje imifutshane. uThixo ufuna sive imithetho yakhe and keep it and speak it and do it. Siyithethe siyenze and follow the supreme law of God as it is in the Bible. And follow the covenant with the Lord as it is in our constitution, as a relationship with our God. Because our constitution made sure that we would never again experience any form of discrimination or slavery. And the laws of the land, more especially today, the Public Service Act, is regulations and policies. And also be faithful witnesses and faithful servants of the government. I work for two kingdoms, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of the Eastern Cape, led by Premier Mabuyan. So singamangqina nabakhonsi abathembekileyo balorhulumente. Silandele inkolo yenyaniso nothando, our signature as public servants. It should be the truth, the love, and care for our own people. uThixo sibekele loo nto. Siguquke sithobele uYesu to be loyal and to both kingdoms, the kingdom of God and the kingdom of the Republic of South Africa, ekhokelwa President Cyril Ramaphosa, and the author of the covenant with God, which is our constitution, because our constitution is in alignment with the word of God. because we vowed that we'll never again allow, as Honorable Nelson Mandela said, sibonakalise ke ukukhonza kwethu. My message is, let's demonstrate our service by spiritually making sure that we do it in spirit and in truth, everything we do. And also ngokuziphatha kwethu by displaying our moral conduct. And also ngokwasengqondweni of sound mind, and we think constructively. And ngokwasemizimbeni being modest, and in terms of image and presentable as we represent the kingdom, the government of the Eastern Cape and the Republic of South Africa. And also, uThixo have mercy on us as we have been ravaged by the COVID-19. And we say in the name of Jesus, fire to the COVID-19. May God always have mercy on us, asixolele izono zethu Thixo. And may God also have mercy on the public servants, abaphilise abo basagulayo i-COVID-19, ngoba asisenzi izinto njengesiqhelo. May their soul rest in peace, all the public servants we lost during this COVID-19 pandemic, the plague. Let's all continue to meditate, as the word of God says, on the role of public service in our lives. Masithandaze. Yehova uThixo unguThixo wamanyani, unguThixo ongenasiqalo nasiphelo. UnguThixo ongumdali wethu, akekho umuntu ozidalileyo apha phakathi kwethu. Sonke sidalwe nguwe, wasibeka ehlabathini nenzaliseko nezabelo nezinto ezisilingeneyo. Wasikelela uba masiziphathe, siphathe izwe, siphathe abantu bakho kakuhle. Sincede ke Thixo usiphilise enyameni, nasemoyeni, nakwizifo zonke esibanjwe zizo. Usiphilise imizimba yethu, ingqondo yethu, inhliziyo zethu. Sisikelele ke Yehova, ube nenceba kuthi. Siyakuthandaza. Siyavula ke lo mhlangano wanamhlanje egameni lakho Yehova uThixo, egameni lakho Yesu, egameni lomoya oyingcwele. Siqhube ke ngomoya wakho oyingcwele, senze ukuthanda kwakho ngalo lonke ixesha sisidla ubomi. Siyakuthandaza ke, siyakuthemba ngoku nangona phakade egameni lika Yesu. Amen. Enkosi ke program director.
Asibulele mfundisi Sotana ngalo mthandazo nalamazwi osinike wona this morning. We are now going to proceed with our program. We are gathered here today in our annual pilgrimage to rekindle our consciences and our commitment to serve the people of the Eastern Cape. We are here today to rejuvenate ourselves so that we can be able to make the people of the Eastern Cape happy. Because it is our responsibility as public servants to serve our people with distinction. The theme of this Public Service Month is building a culture of service and execution in the public service. That's the theme of the Public Service Month that we are here to launch today. We do this on an annual basis, but it's something that we should be living on a daily basis, serving the people, executing the plans of government. We have invited all the civil servants from the different levels from the provincial government, departments, public entities, from local government. We are also graced with the presence of the Executive Council in this session today. We have the Honorable Premier amongst us. We also have Honorable MECs. I've seen Honorable Komonye, MEC for Desrak, MEC Matigizela for Public Works and Infrastructure, MEC Konziwe for Human Settlements, MEC Gade from Education, MEC Manelu City from Social Development, MEC Math from Health, MEC Mvoko from Finance and Economic Development. We do have the Director General. I've also seen Director General Mr. Mbulelo Sokoni. We also have HODs from various departments. I've seen Mr. Machemba, the acting HOD of Social Development, Mr. Majega, the HOD of Provincial Treasury, Dr. Naledi Mbude, HOD of Education, Mr. Vian Mapolisa, HOD of Community Safety. We also have amongst us the Provincial Commissioner, the Public Service Commission, which is Lulu Sizani, who is also part of the program. We have invited also the members of the local government to be part of this session as well, over and above the civil servants and public servants in the province. So without much ado, I'm going now to request that those that are responsible for flighting the agenda, can we flight the agenda so that we can be able to take members of the session through? I can see that Mr. Fani is also part of the session, the HOD of COGTA, and the advisor to the Premier, Dr. Mbengashe, is also part of the session. Yeah, thank you very much. We are now done with the first two items and first three items, including the introduction. We are going to have the welcoming from the DG, and that will be followed by 7-point pledge from DDG Sokutu from the Office of the Premier. We will also have examples of service excellence from Commissioner Sizani. The Premier and the MEC have had a discussion. We are going to be combining those two items. The Premier will then combine all those two items and go straight after the Public Service Commission will go straight to the Premier, and Ms. Mbude will then, Dr. Mbude will then do the vote of thanks. We're hopeful that by 12 o'clock we'll be done with our program. So without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me request the Director General to welcome all of us. Over to you, Mr. Sogon.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Deputy Director General Mahlubandile Kwase. Good morning to you, Honorable Premier Lubabalo Oscar Mabuyane, members of the Executive Council, Resident Commissioner of the Public Service Commission in the Eastern Cape, Commissioner Lulu Sizani, heads of departments and other state institutions, esteemed guests, and my colleagues, the public servants of the government of the Eastern Cape. As we begin the flowery month of September, as a nation, we have become used to celebrating our heritage, our unique heritage, rolling out the red carpet to domestic and international tourists, and being reminded of what it is to serve, offering us an opportunity to reflect on our services, their impact, and how the work of government is changing the lives of communities. For over a year now, our province, country, and economies of the world, big and small, have been ravaged by the coronavirus pandemic. We are, however, delighted that challenges of COVID-19 have not prevented us from taking services to the people. In fact, public service frontline workers, in particular, healthcare workers, have placed their own lives at risk and actually lost their lives in the line of duty to protect citizens. There is no better time to illustrate that public service is a call of duty. We applaud the courage and resilience of public servants to continue to go the extra mile in these unprecedented times. In the public service, we continue to implement government priorities of defeating the coronavirus pandemic, accelerating economic recovery, creating sustainable jobs, and strengthening the state capacity and capability. We are working to ensure an efficient and effective public service. We are working to ensure integrated and aligned service delivery efforts across government. Integral in our commitment to serve as employees in the public service, we are required to maintain a high standard of professional ethics. We are required to report unethical conduct, corruption, and non-compliance with the laws or government policies. We have to continue to ensure that their professional ethics as public servants are beyond reproach. We have to be committed to the economic and effective use of resources and to provide services in an impartial, fair, and equitable way. We have to ensure that public servants serve citizens promptly and courteously, whilst assisting them to make informed choices when accessing services. And we are committed to building a public service that is instilled with the culture of innovation, voluntarism, and service. I take this opportunity, Program Director, on behalf of the Eastern Cape Provincial Administration, to extend a warm welcome to the leadership and entire membership of the public service, as well as all guests and attendees in today's program. In spite of all challenges associated with celebrating this day on a virtual platform, we hope that you will enjoy being part of a program like this. I thank you, Program Director. You are all welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG, for that warm welcome and very pointed remarks. Without, let me also acknowledge the presence of General Nchinga, our provincial commissioner from SAPS, who is also part of this important session today. We also have HOD of Human Settlement, Ms. Poswa, Human Settlements, as well as Mr. Daiman, acting HOD of Dr. Da, and HOD of Economic Development, Ms. Mama, is also a part of this session. Can we have the agenda flighted again? Thank you very much. We are now going to move swiftly to Umamuso Kutu, who is going to be presenting to us the 7-point pledge, which is the commitment that we made as the provincial administration to do things differently in this term and to address certain perennial problems that we've been confronted with as a province that have tended to tarnish the image of the province. So the provincial management then presented to the Executive Council our commitment to address those issues. And that was well received by the Executive Council. So I want to continue to share that commitment, because it is not only the commitment of the accounting officers, but it is our commitment as the whole public service that we should be adhering to that to turn around the image of the province. So without much ado, let me hand over to Umamuso Kutu, the DDG in the Office of the Premier. Over to you, Umamuso Kutu.
Thanks, Program Director. I would like to greet the Honorable Premier, the Honorable members of the Executive Council, the Director General, the heads of departments, the PSC Commissioner Sizani, the Provincial Commissioner, colleagues, and everybody who has graced this occasion. And I would like to greet you in the name of excellent public service. And if you believe or you inspire for excellent public service,
you are muted. Unmute, Umamuso Kutu.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Program Director. I agree to Honorable. I agree to Program Director. I agree to Honorable Premier, Honorable members of the Executive Council, the Director General, the Public Service Commissioner, the Provincial Commissioner, the HODs, and all the guests that have graced us on this occasion. And I greet you in the name of excellent public service. And if you believe, you shall say amen to excellent public service wherever you are. I've heard
amen. Amen.
Yes, I've heard 139 amens. And on that note, I am going to proceed with the presentation. It's not going to be a long presentation. Chairperson, may I just check if it is reflecting on your screen? Okay. I entitled this short presentation, Sabela Uyabizwa, an overview of the performance improvement 7-point pledge and its implication for the Eastern Cape public servants. And the theme is, as a public servant in the Eastern Cape, Sabela Uyabizwa. As a way of introduction, I would like to contextualize this 7-point pledge plan within the performance of the Eastern Cape administration, particularly ourselves as individual departments. looking both at the end of 2019-20, we did not perform well because we were only able to achieve 54% of our targets that we had set ourselves. And then there was no difference. Even at the end of 2021, we were still below 60% in terms of achieving what we had set to achieve at the end of that financial year. And the provincial management acknowledged that we could not go on like that. It was time we turned over a new leaf in 2021-22. And whilst we know that there are many aspects that we need to turn a new leaf in, but we would start small, we would start on governance, because if we can fix governance, everything else can become better. And I would like to indicate that with that in mind, that we need to turn over a new leaf, I would like to indicate that turning over a new leaf and striving to turn things around requires, amongst others, that one must feel that unbearable discomfort, that unbearable dissatisfaction with the state of affairs that currently prevails, which means, Program Director, if you are still comfortable as a public servant in your area of operation about how things are still not going to change. Turning a new leaf requires a starting point. The provincial management said, we see everything that is not going well, but we are going to start on governance. We are going to start just on 7 items. It also requires a determination to turn this situation to the desired state of affairs. And in that determination, whether you call it commitment, whether you call it pledge, but you must be determined. And you must know how you are going to get to that new state. All these were the thoughts, as indicated on the screen, were the thoughts that went into the minds of the provincial management of the province. And then lastly, we need to have a commitment to go beyond theory, to go beyond the conceptualization, concept documents, the theories, the principles, to execution. And having taken into consideration what is in A and in B, a commitment to change the situation has been made. And that commitment, I want to emphasize, Program Director, that it was made willingly. And it was presented to the EXCO, and the Executive Council supported that commitment. And the commitment entails what we have come to know as a 7-point pledge. And I do want to reiterate once again that that 7-point pledge is just a tip of the iceberg, considering what public servants in the Eastern Cape are supposed to be doing. But I would like us to picture, to keep in mind what is in B, because at the end, I would like you to consider what is in B. On this slide, Program Director, I'm outlining now this commitment that was made as a result of the dissatisfaction with the current state of affairs. It's a simple commitment with 7 points, whereby we are committing that no department will achieve less than 98% of their set targets by the end of the year. Then if anything goes amiss, one must fall at 90%, not below 90%. Bear in mind, Program Director, I'm saying we are moving from a case of a 59%, but we're saying that there was COVID last year. Now we know about COVID. Let us go to that 90%. Then when it comes to expenditure, 2 things that we are saying, there are 3 things actually, that for this first quarter or on a quarterly basis, each department must have spent 25% of their budget from the first quarter and so on. We know that some departments' projections do not allow for 25%. They might allow for 18% or for 30%, but that which you have committed, please spend it. We also said that by the end of the year, all of our budget must be spent. If we fail to do so, we must spend at least 98%. If you are looking at these first 3, they are related, because if I don't achieve my targets, how do I spend? If I don't spend, how do I achieve my target? We've got a problem on conditional grants, but this year we said enough is enough. We must spend 100% of our conditional grants. Still on expenditure, we all know that in the province, we've heard about 5 institutions combining departments and maybe SOEs that constantly receive clean governance. But we said it's enough now. We have to do a way to have a non-tolerant approach towards irregular expenditure, starting with backlog irregular expenditure, investigate what caused that, take action, close those, prevent new irregular expenditure, and Provincial Treasury considers the applications to condone where it is condonable, and they close those books. And we set ourselves 30th of September this year to conclude all the work that has got to do with irregular of prior years. However, Chairperson, we have just been audited, we've just concluded our audit. There are departments that have irregular expenditure. We are bringing that in for it to be worked on currently so that we clear all that. Then number 6, I see people smiling when they look at number 6, because the 6th point in this pledge is that all departments must make sure that they pay employee benefits that are outstanding by the 30th of June, and thereafter pay all employee benefits within 30 days. And that does not only end with employees. All creditor payments, be it municipalities, be it service providers, all those must be paid within 30 days. Then we also realize that there are some employees that exited the system, some of them in the 90s, that have not yet received their dues. And then we said each department is going to institute a project to clear those unclaimed benefits. And then lastly, an area of ethics, an area of integrity management. We said no department must have officials in the central database. Therefore, in the central supplier database, therefore, each department must embark on a project to remove those that were there by the end of June, those that were there in the previous year, and not have new ones going forward. And where disciplinary action needs to be taken, that be taken. That was what we committed at the beginning of this financial year. And remember, the theme was Sabela Uyabizwa. As an Eastern Cape public servant, we are being called to execution. From April to end of June, how far did we go on this journey? In terms of the achievement of the APP target, I think there is a red flag, because as we're looking at how departments performed, we realize that, yes, in terms of the quarterly targets, they had performed a kakuhle, but if you are looking at annualizing their performance by the end of the year quarter, if the year would end on the 30th of June, we would have achieved 33% of our target. We do give benefit of doubt due to the fact that some indicators are annual. But again, when we're going to the program of action, which is our ILIMA as provincial departments, we found that we performed at 74%, which was better than last year, but it's still far less than the 98%, which means that we have to roll our sleeves even further. Then we further indicated that no department shall spend less than 25% of their first quarter budget, which means that everybody should have spent 100% of what they had set for the quarter. And on average, our department spent 95%. We are concerned about 3 departments that spent less than 95% of their budget. And colleagues, when we listen to the reasons that are given, most of them are not convincing. Most of them show our lack of proper planning and our lack of following up even on invoices that have been submitted. Then on conditional grants, whilst we have improved from where we were last year, but we still fell below what we had set for ourselves during the first quarter. Then on the payment of the creditors timely, on that one, I would like to, on that one, we started and we've reduced the time it takes to pay service providers. Remember, the rule is that we must pay within 30 days of receiving valid invoices. This effort of this 7-point pledge has started to bear fruit in this part of the payment of creditors, because we saw a reduction in the time it took to pay creditors from April to June. Because in April, we worked hard, but our average was 20 days as the provincial administration. But by June, we're taking 12 days. But what is important is that we must keep that effort. Then again, in terms of the invoices that are paid within 30 days, we've increased from 35% of our invoices being paid within 30 days in April. By the end of June, in response to this 7-point plan, we were paying 94% of our invoices within 30 days. Already, 4 departments have cleared their 2020-21 payables. It's something that is worth mentioning because without this pledge, we would still be having maybe 1 department. We would still be having departments that are still thinking about that. Then when it comes to employee exit benefits, we've got 8 departments that are affected and a total of about 7,208 former employees that are still yet to get their pension benefits, dating back from 1997 up to date. Then we put that in place, and already 8 departments have put those project plans. Yes, they started only in May, coming to June, but already there were departments, about 2 of them, that had reported that they've managed to track some employees, some benefits, so some beneficiaries. And what touched me was 1 department that reported that the employee the former employee has since passed away. Let's say it's Mr. Sokutu. Mr. Sokutu has since passed away. Mrs. Sokutu was a beneficiary to Mr. Sokutu's pension fund, has also since passed away. And the entire Sokutu family, Ngapes Lali Nemampondweni, does not know anything about pension benefits. So that department reported that they have actually set a team that is going ngapha, I think to that household to educate the family that Mr. Sokutu left this benefit, nominate a person. I was touched by that, and I felt that I should point out, because that is the type of a public service that we would like to see. Not somebody who's going to say, no, let us forget. Go out, search, and educate them about these benefits, guide them on how to get these benefits. Then on the expenditure by year end, the targeted of 98%, I do want to indicate that when the quarter ended, we had spent 22.3% of our annual budget, which means that if the year was to end on the 30th of June, we'd be found wanting, because we were less than what we had projected to spend by the first quarter by 1%. Then on the removal of conflicted officials from the central database, we had removed 63% of our backlog cases. The rest are being investigated. I do want to indicate that it's only 2 departments that we are left with on that one. And again, only 2 departments reported to have new conflicted officials, and 1 department has already removed all of them. So we are saying now, don't wait, see a conflicted official, deal with her and remove her. Then on irregular expenditure management and prevention measures, we have also taken steps there. All the 11 departments that had irregular expenditure, because 2 of them, Dr. Dai and Safety, did not have irregular expenditure from prior years, but the 11 that had that irregular expenditure have started with investigations, have completed investigations, and have some investigations, and have started disciplinary processes where these are due. And there are 4 departments that are giving us goosebumps, because they have already reported that they've started to incur new irregular expenditure this financial year. But we are working closely with those, so that they can start to deal with that new irregular expenditure, because ideally they should not be having that. Then, having heard what I said in the introduction as the background to the 7-point pledge, having heard how far we've gone at the end of the first quarter, what I would like to ask, if I was a public servant today, I would say, what does this imply for me as an individual public servant? And Mrs. Sokutu would respond to me by saying, Mrs. Sokutu, it implies that you have an opportunity to make the much needed difference in. I don't know what is the much needed difference in your own area of operation. So you will fill the dots to complete the statement. But what is important is that this 7-point pledge and our performance up to the first quarter implies that take an opportunity, make a difference in your area of operation. Choose one space where you want to make a difference. It also implies a call upon us as public servants for continuous introspection in our own areas of operation, in our own institutions. Are we still on it? What is not going well? It also implies a challenge for each one of us to choose what to do differently, and we commit to that. It also implies that we need to commit to a result-oriented performance. It also implies that we need to have that pride in making a difference, in contributing to a positive change, such that when all is said and done, and this is what she did. And then lastly, $1 million question. I'm giving this as a homework. You will answer at home. One day I'll come back for the homework. And this question is, will your name be listed when the winning team is called out? I'm closing a program director by asking again another question. This one, I would like it to be answered today. You answer it where you are seated. And it's 2 questions. Do you agree that individual commitment to a group effort is what makes a team work, is what makes a company work, is what makes a community work, is what makes a civilization work? Do you agree that your individual commitment to the 7-point plan, which is a provincial management effort, that your individual commitment is what will make your department work, is what will make the Eastern Cape Public Service work? Do you agree? Also, do you agree that nothing will work unless you do? Do you agree that this 7-point plan will never work unless you, who is seated on the chair on which you are seated, work? I would like to leave you with a reminder of what the Premier said on the 23rd of February 2021 in the State of the Province address. He said, I quote, "I call upon public servants in all spheres of government to embrace a new culture characterized by service, timely execution, and discipline of getting things done." Unquote. Sabela, uyabizwa. Thanks, Program Director.
Thank you very much, Mam Sokoto, for that inspiring presentation and for posing those serious questions at the end that begin to prick our consciences as public servants. I'm tempted to just give some 5 minutes for comments on this commitment, or people that are going to reflect on their commitment to this pledge. Any takers? I was once an educator, so I don't have to see hands. I can always point at people to say something. Any volunteer who wants to comment on the 7-point pledge and to place your commitment? Basekhona abantu ententeni.
Besiba program director seyenziwe lo part ngathi izopresentwa apha wonke umuntu oligosa sezibophelele kuyo. Ngoku xa sinawuyenza ngoko abantu baye 100 and nto balapha ngonganzima, but bethetha 1 by 1. Uxolo, through you.
Nkosi Premier. Nkosi Premier. So without much ado, we'll now proceed to our next item. The examples of excellence from the Public Service Commissioner, Ms. Lulu Sizan. Over to you, Slu.
Honorable Premier, Honorable MECs, Director General for the province, Mr. Sokoni, the Provincial Commissioner for the South African Police Service, Lieutenant General Njinga, heads of departments, representatives from local government, esteemed senior government officials present in this meeting, and all civil servants of our province. I also want to acknowledge the presence of Commissioner Phumelele Ntombela Nzimande, the National Commissioner for the Public Service Commission and the Caretaker Commissioner for the province of KwaZulu-Natal, present in this meeting, senior government officials from the Public Service Commission. I greet you all. Program Director, the Public Service Month of September is one of the most important times for us in the public service, where we celebrate the service that we give to the people of our country. We celebrate it by embarking on campaigns and activities that enhance service delivery, putting ourselves out there for the public to see what we are doing that can change their lives for better. It is a month where we remind each other of the importance of our call as civil servants, that it is a God-given call. It is not the space to show off how we have arrived and how big our ranks, our own houses and the cars we drive. It is about their people and also about us rolling up our sleeves to provide an excellent service for the people of our country. As we celebrate the Public Service Month under the theme, the Year of Charlotte Maxeke, building capacity of the state through a resilient workforce that responds to the coronavirus pandemic, we recognize the fact that it has not been a good year for all of us. In front of our eyes, we saw our colleagues succumb to COVID-19. We saw some survive. Some of us in the public service lost their loved ones, but we remained resilient, standing with our hands up, pledging our allegiance to the government of the day and putting people first. Today, I stand here on behalf of the Public Service Commission of the Republic of South Africa to thank all civil servants of our province in particular that dedicated their lives in serving people of our province and the country. I want to single out our health professionals, our doctors, our nurses, and all that put their lives in danger in the business of saving lives. I am proud, Premier, to announce that there is hope for our province. We have many pockets of excellence in our province. We have dedicated men and women among us, which I would want to honor today. My heart tells me that this honor and recognition that I will be giving is too little and is based only on reports. If you had given me reports, I think there would be many of these recognition certificates being dished out today. But some did not give me any report, that I would actually brag about today. And I believe that the Department of Health in our province made us proud, but only dropped the ball by not bragging enough about the good work that they have done. That some of us are alive today, we can only give thanks to God and also to the Department of Health. But only if they had given us the report, I think they would have been the ones getting the biggest honor today. And I hope what I'm saying will make them improve in the future and that they will continue to give us something to show off, something to brag about. Allow me, Premier and Honorable MECs and everyone here today, to give a special recognition to one of our own, a man who also became a victim of COVID-19 and succumbed to it. The late head of Department of Education in our province, the late Mr. Themba Kojana. The late Mr. Themba Kojana. I present today posthumously a certificate of recognition for the role he played in impressing upon the Public Service Commission to assist departments in our province to institutionalize the constitutional values and principles. His proposal resulted in the Public Service Commission engaging all heads of departments in the province on the constitutional values and principles, a program that was spearheaded and actually pushed behind by our Director General in the province, Mr. Mbulelo Sokoni. This, the proposal that the late Mr. Kojana made resulted in the PSC engaging all heads of departments in the province of the Eastern Cape. And we were able then to make presentations to all heads of departments. I therefore present a certificate of recognition to Mr. Themba Kojana posthumously. This certificate will be handed over to the Honorable MEC Gade, to give to the family of the late Mr. Themba Kojana. The second recognition certificate goes again to the Department of Education in our province. I remember the many fights I had with this department when I arrived in the province in 2019, to a point where I would give the MEC early calls in the morning, very early, 7 o'clock, I would pick up a phone and call the MEC, and he would already on the road by that time. And I would vent my anger to the MEC, and I thank him for understanding why I was fighting with the department. But I am delighted to announce, Honorable Premier, the improvement that this department has made over and above all of those fights. This department has been smart enough. They have been smart enough to give us an excellent report on their successful vaccination program in the education sector. A program which started on the 23rd of June 2021 and ended on the 14th of July 2021. Despite the vaccine hesitancy witnessed in some parts of our country, it is encouraging to note that this department vaccinated 85% of the teaching and non-teaching staff, which translates to 63,822 people. And out of the target that they gave themselves of 75,769, that is 100% of the teaching and non-teaching staff. I say, Premier, they've been smart enough to give us this report so that in other sectors where we represent the Public Service Commission, we were able to brag about this report and make it ours, as indeed it is ours because we represent the public service in the public service. The Department of Education should be commended for a job well done, and they truly deserve the recognition that we are giving them today. And we will hand over this certificate to the HOD of the Department of Education in our province, Dr. Naledi Mbude. We also had another recognition certificate that we will be handing over today. And Honorable Premier, this place is in a rural area in our province, and it's a small place that some of us didn't even know where it is. And this Honorable Premier, is the recognition that goes to the members of the South African Police Service. And these members, they went beyond the call of duty when they were called upon to trace a family of the late Mr. Welile Mdlungu after the matter was reported to the Public Service Commission. And the late Mr. Mdlungu could have been buried a pauper somewhere in the Western Cape because it was difficult to trace his family. And through the resistance of these members, they worked very hard and they used their investigative skills to trace the family of this member. I almost gave up when they gave me a report that this place, which is situated in the area where they work, as a Leni area, the police station is Ezeleni Police Station in King Williamstown. They told me that, Commissioner, there are 14 villages in that place. And the only information that we had was that this man came from Ezeleni without even knowing what village. And when they said, no, that area is big with 14 villages, we don't know which village, but they went beyond the call of duty to trace this family and found the family. And they found the family on the 18th of May, 2021. And I received a call from Brigadier Kakavu at 9:45 at night to tell me that they have found the family. The three members of the police service that were given the case by our own again, our Deborah in the province, Lieutenant General Lizzie Nchinga, she gave the task to these three members of the police station that we're honoring today. The first one being Brigadier Kakavu, whose certificate is flighted, and these framed certificates of these members will be handed over to Lieutenant General Nchinga to hand over the certificates to them formally. I am waiting for the team to flight the second certificate for the member who was also attached to the case, Sergeant L. Mjoni, who also comes from the same police station as the Leni police station. And the third member is Detective Sergeant N.Y. Matya, who was also assigned to the team. We salute these members for a job well done. And that is the end of my task. And in concluding this, I want to thank the all the people that contributed in making us proud today. And I wanted to believe that there is hope for this province. I thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner, for the good idea, and not just good, a very powerful idea to celebrate the contributions that have been made by those who came before us, and as well as those that are still working with us, because sometimes we tend to be very hard on ourselves and we don't celebrate our achievements. And it's important that from time to time we celebrate our achievements in order to rejuvenate ourselves to do more. I am tempted. I see that some of the people that have been awarded are also part of this session. Brigadier Klagav, I can see she's part of this session today. But I'm tempted to, given that we have education, we have also the police service, just 2 minutes, MEC for education, and 2 minutes Brigadier Nchinga to receive those awards. Can I start with the Honorable Brigadier General Nchinga?
Thank you so much, the Honorable Premier, all invited guests, the DG, and the Commissioner. As SAPS members, we are delighted to be part of this occasion. It shows that hard work pays. Under the circumstances that we are working in the rural areas, we are really proud to be recognized, and our members working under those difficult conditions. As the police management in the province, we are very, very much proud. And also myself, I'm just a guest today because I'm no longer a part of the province. Because I was invited before I get the promotion, I said, let me be part of this August occasion. From yesterday, I have started to be a national member. I'm the Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, of which this investigation is also falling under my auspice. I thank the province of the Eastern Cape for recognizing the good work that the members are doing. It's very rare that when we do good, we are being recognized. We are doing a thankless job, but for the Eastern Cape, we have seen that we are really recognized. That makes our members to be more on the ground and been more motivated. With those few words, I thank you so much. It's an honor for me to finish at this high note in the province. Thank you so much also to the Premier of the province for allowing me to lead the forces in this province. Thank you so much.
Thanks, General. And congratulations once again for your promotion to the national level. It shows that indeed you have done a sterling job in the province. I've also seen the work that you are doing around our villages in Umtata. Your teams are really doing a sterling job there. Quiet nokungokwezalaliza ukuthi zasemqhekezweni. Lamadoda ajikeleza kusephandle pha nalamahashi. Nomuntu onganxibanga amask pha ukhabuzwe nje kwalapha elalini ngelela lahashi lijikelezayo. That's the work that members of the SAPS are doing in our rural areas. And I think they have collected illegal arms as in the area. Thank you very much once again, General. MEC Gade. MEC Gade, are you in the house? Can I request MEC Math to receive both education and also the warm wishes for the contribution of the health workers? MEC Math.
Good morning to the Honorable Premier, the Honorable MECs, DG, you Program Director, the Provincial Commissioner, both for the public service and for police, our officials, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be given this opportunity, even though you found me unready, DDG, but to listen to the Provincial Public Service Commissioner speaking like that and giving recognition to the great work that is done by our public servants is very humbling. We know that majority of cases, there is some positive tension that is caused by the role that she is playing with the Commission of oversighting us as we do the work for the people of the Eastern Cape. So it is very exciting to hear that some of the excellence that is found amongst our service provision or public service and servants, it is recognized. More so, it is done by our public service commissioner, which shows that even though the commission is oversighting the work that we are doing, we must not take them as if they are policing or take that tension as a negative tension, but we must always be prepared to comply, to collaborate, cooperate, and also to respond when there are some information that is requested from us. What I also take home as a lesson from this presentation is the fact that we need to report the work that we do so that we are able, therefore, to be represented in the platforms where our own Provincial Public Service Commissioner participates, so that the great work that is done in our different departments is recognized. So we appreciate that. And on behalf of our partner, the Department of Education, which unfortunately, like us as the Department of Health, was the hard-hit department in terms of the impact that was received from the COVID, and in terms of the number of the public servants, the frontline workers who demised because of COVID-19. So it is humbling, and we're saying it's heartwarming, DDG, to be here and to receive on behalf of the Department of Education the recognition awards that are given today by our own provincial commissioner. Thank you very much, DDG.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC, for those kind words. We are now going to proceed to, we will allow the Honorable Premier to address this august occasion. So without much ado, I'm going to request the Honorable Premier to take the floor. Over to you, Honorable Premier.
DDG, uthi mandingene ngoku? DDG?
Yes, Honorable Premier. I think, Honorable Premier, we are going to move from after the Public Service Commissioner is going to be the main address by the Honorable Premier.
Okay, I thought if HOD Education is here and MEC doesn't appear to be here, HOD should have said something in that good spirit you were doing.
Because MEC HOD was also going to be doing the vote of thanks, I thought we are encouraged at least a better part with vote of thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, ndingamnika Premier ukwenza uba ukhe ube ulungisa lo mcimbi network.
Hayi ndiyeke ndiqomolozele.
Okay. Over to you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, the Program Director, DDG Kwase, to members of the Executive Council present, the Public Service Commissioner in our province, Uma Musizani, the Director General, and all HODs.
Sorry, Honorable Premier, can you unmute your video? Because this session is also live streamed through our Facebook page.
Oh, I thought I've unmuted it.
Yeah. Thanks,
Is that
Honorable.
okay now?
We can see you now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The Director General and the HODs present, the leaders of the organized labor, the invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Let me thank and appreciate the opportunity to talk to all of you today on this very important day. We meet here on this second day of the spring season to launch the 2021 edition of the Public Service Month. Ms. Laila Gifty Akita, the author of the book titled Think Great, says, and I quote, "Springtime is a season of great hope and strength," close quote. As a nation and as the Eastern Cape Public Administration, we must have hope and strength to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic that has gripped our country since March last year. We've lost colleagues to this pandemic, people we shared office space with. Since the pandemic started, more than 20,000 public servants were infected with the virus, and sadly, we lost about 814 colleagues. Most of the colleagues we lost were in education, where 401 colleagues demised, and health accounted for 307 departed public servants. I just hope and pray, DDG Sogutu, as you were presenting on that pledge, that these people have received their gratuities, their families, their pensions. Not this pain that we see in the public administration, that people die and spend 5 years going up and down between district offices and provincial office without pensions being paid. Make people suffer more when they've already suffered. I just hope that education, health are sorting that. As we have said, that this issue must be sorted. Mbonile ke ba ngomile kakhulu Public Service Commission ba kuzwa kakuhle kumsebenzi esiwenzayo ozama uza kakuhle. Kodwa ke zikhona izinto zi-low hanging befana ba nokozona aside sibe nangxaki nazo. As we launch this year's Public Service Month, I would therefore like us to observe a moment of silence in remembrance of the public servants we have lost to the pandemic. Ndelanga lamthandazo DDG uvule ngawo bakhona abangaqinisekanga ngawo umthandazo benifuna nje sinike nje imbeko yomzuzwana thoba inhloko sinike imbeko lamathandazo abezinikele adanikela ngobomi bawo. Thank you very much. Program Director, the theme for this year's Public Service Month is the Year of Charlotte Maxeke, building the capacity of the state through a resilient workforce that responds to the coronavirus pandemic. From the start, let me appreciate the role that our public servants are playing in ensuring that government services continue to be provided to our people. We have moved swiftly to ensure that we prioritize public servants in the vaccination program, particularly frontline and essential workers, as Public Service Commissioner was also concurring. I can safely say we have reached acceptable levels of inoculation for our healthcare workers, educators, and police. This has been a crucial step to ensure that the education sector recovers from the loss of teaching time that we experienced last year. It was also necessary to inoculate healthcare workers because they must implement the vaccination for the rest of the society. Our police had to be inoculated first also because they must continue enforcing COVID-19 regulation. All these sectors of our public service have been stretched to the limit in this COVID-19 period, but have demonstrated great professionalism and commitment. We do acknowledge that, and we are humbled by that. Their action bode well for the ethos of selflessness we want to inculcate in the public service when we say we want to be a capable developmental state. The Public Service Month serves as an important reminder of the noble role that civil servants contribute to building an ethical and capable state that is fit for purpose to deliver on its social contract with our people. We are in government to use state power as an instrument to deliver essential services, to promote development, to expand economic opportunities, to build the critical building blocks of openness, transparency, and social justice. We are in government to foster stability, social progress, employment, and elimination of poverty and hunger. Put differently, we are in government to create a better life for all. As the government leadership at the highest levels of authority, it is our responsibility to develop policies directed at improving the material condition of the people. These material conditions need us to focus on them to make sure that people's lives are changed. We have set national goals for the attainment of quality education, health, social services, and security, as well as economic opportunities for the people of our province. Our goals and objectives are achievable if we have the right skills sets, appropriate levels of competency in our civil servants, and we organize ourselves as teams that are dedicated to realize the set targets in our annual performance plans with approved budget. As civil services are the central instrument of the state to deliver on our governing party electoral mandates, through your efforts, the government should be able to deliver services promised to our people of our province through the planning cycles aimed at operationalizing work of government on an annual basis. With well-designed performance instruments, you should be able to hold your teams to account for what you have delivered. And you should be held accountable for the resources allocated to you. Of concern, Program Director, to me is that we are not achieving the commitments we made because we lack many of the essential ingredients for an efficient, ethical, and capable state, because we have not internalized the culture or cultural practices required for an agile, high responsive state that is fit for purpose and aligned to the needs and legitimate aspirations of our people. I raise this concern, honorable MECs and HODs here, to demonstrate to you that your work in government is more than drawing salary for minimal work done to justify a salary. What we want from all of us is a clear commitment that we are going to work tirelessly with great commitment to make the social condition of our people better than they were before, to earn salary and then work, or not to earn salary and then work. In every opportunity I get to speak to you, colleagues, I'm going to continue telling you that they are
You have muted yourself, Honorable Premier. Please unmute.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Someone is doing that. It's not me, or it's automatic. I was just indicating, Program Director, that in every opportunity I get to speak to you, colleagues, I'm going to continue telling you that there are over 6 million citizens in our province who yearn for a better life. Many citizens of our province migrate to other provinces forced by circumstances of joblessness. They do not enjoy leaving their home province because they have families here. We who are working inside our province, particularly in the public service, whether in provincial or local government space, must do everything in our power to develop our province so that it can be prosperous. It can attract investments so that our fellow citizens who migrate to other provinces can come home to find work opportunities. Where we are employed or deployed to work and get paid, we must not create other earnings in government that will make us betray the trust that the masses of our people place on us. We must uphold ethics, we must be incorruptible, and we must be religious in putting the interest of the people first. Bona ke xa kuthiwa asispendanga imali befamba siyispendile either on infrastructure, we are continuously authorizing demise of our SMME, and the SMME sector is the one that is going to be helping us drive the job creation that we're talking about. And we are definitely forcing our people to leave this province. And when they leave now, they leave as families. And now they get counted in Western Cape, KZN, and in Gauteng. And the equitable share follows them, even though they still need the services back here when they are back home. So the outward migration is a challenge, but we can stop it if we actually work and focus on the development of our province and improve our agility and efficiency in terms of the public purse. I am acutely aware that there are many dedicated members of the public service establishment who have worked tirelessly to service our people with dignity and managed the affairs of the state in an open, transparent, and equitable manner without corruption, fraud, and nepotism. For that, I wish to encourage you to continue to be the ideal civil servants we celebrate today. There are equal There are equally amongst us who have used the state resources in a corrupt, fraudulent, and who dishonestly cheat the poor and use the state resources to collect rents from hard-working small companies by holding their payments and demanding bribes for work that you have already been paid for by government in form of salary and benefits. We must all be intolerant of corruption in the public system. We have started with the lifestyle audit, with executive council members currently undergoing that comprehensive assessment. We will be cascading it down to the administration. This is our commitment to renewal, transparency, accountability, and responsibility, with consequence management being the order of the day. Today, we launched the Provincial Public Service Month to renew our commitment to serve, to be the agent of transformation for the betterment of our communities, to be ethical and capable civil servants, to infuse the Batupili principles of offering services to our people with a smile because we recognize the honor of being a servant of the people, and to celebrate the values of the public service enshrined in our Constitution. As we renew our commitments, colleagues, during this month of September, we should be proud of our heritage bequeathed by many civil servants. Last night, we were celebrating the Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Njinga, who has been appointed as a Deputy National Commissioner for Detective Services. She was our Provincial Police Commissioner for 5 years and left a solid subs in our province that reduced crime stats during her reign and made our communities safe. Thank you very much, Mabai. Once again, we said a lot last night in bidding you farewell. We're still saying so. We wish many can really emulate what kind of a civil servant you were, a person who can be available at any given time and respond to any message that comes your way and give immediate answers and make necessary decisive interventions. That we do really appreciate. Mbogodo, you've worked for our province, and indeed the foundation has been laid, and indeed work has begun. We really wish you all the best where you're going, and we know that you are going to make difference where you're going. And I'm happy that we have got a good contact where you will be, so that all the issues that have been lagging for our province from the national space can also get the necessary attention. It is civil servants like you who make us continue to believe that there are good men and women in our public administration who are capable and willing to serve at all material times. We are reminded that this calendar event of Provincial Public Service Month launch is aimed at celebrating the contribution of the public service workforce, while at the same time it is a moment in time to conduct an introspection to examine how we have stayed true to our social contract to serve the people of the Eastern Cape in time, equitable and efficient manner during the last financial period. I implore you to work with government of the day to ensure that our reputation, our practices and service standards and gender respects offer dignity, create hope of a better life, and each person in the public service strive to offer the best of our citizens, treats everyone with dignity and promote equity and fairness in administering responsive public service that meets the legitimate expectation of our people. I urge everyone to make a commitment and renew our social contract to be agent of change for the Eastern Cape we want. I challenge you to be instrumental of positive change to be instruments of positive change, be the leadership that engender energy to fire high levels of productivity among your teams, work in collaboration with others across the spheres of government to realize power of work as a collective. In these changing times, Program Director, we need open-minded civil servants. I think we can say Public Service Commissioner. This is not about being status conscious. It's about work and productivity. We need open-minded civil servants who embrace change, who embrace innovation for us to be able to navigate our way forward. We've got a collective objective and responsibility to take our province to a higher pedestal. We need these open-minded civil servants who are early adopters of innovation and improved services. COVID-19 introduced us to working remotely and virtual platforms for meetings. You must and adapt to these new ways of working because they bring agility to your work. Siyayazi ke amancane efumene indlela yokusithela xa kuthiwa umuntu makasebenze ekhaya. Into esiyifuna ngumsebenzi noba usebenza la phansi komthi okwe-traffic usithele ngomthi xa ufuna ukwenza umsebenzi wakho. As long as uzakwenza umsebenzi wakho sifuna loo nto, and we must see that productivity. Leyo usebenza kuba ubonwa yi-supervise kuba ulandelwa ingxaki, kodwa awulali xa usayina u-Z8 into yokuthiwa form uthandaza, uphinde uthandaza usiya kwii-interviews wawunikwa i-opportunity wenza the extreme than to serve our people. I repeat it, we've got about 124,000 people who are employed in our provincial administration to serve more than 6 million people. In that 6 million, there are more capable men and women who can come in and do much better than what we are doing. We are simply a privileged few. Every day, every night of our lives, we must understand that we are here because of these masses that are out there who are waiting for us to serve them. The more we have got problems of growing unemployment rate, high levels of poverty and inequality, whilst we've got billions and billions of rands that we're procuring, which are not making difference as our people would want to see, then we are sitting on a time bomb. My plea is that you don't have to have an HOD following you, don't have to have an MEC following you. You must have your targets very clear. We know what we want to achieve. That has been articulated. We know our electoral mandate for the 6th administration. We know our MTSF, the medium-term strategic framework, the targets. We know our 5-year strat plans. So every day of our lives, no one must pray for that. You must just be, it must be internal, it must be internalized, it must be professional about it. So my plea is that all of us, we've got to lift up. Public Service Commissioner says there is a light in the tunnel. There is hope that this province can get somewhere. Let's not disappoint those who are actually optimistic about the kind of work that we're doing. Let me descend by urging you to continue observing COVID-19 protocols. I think religiously adhering to non-pharmaceutical measures is the only effective way to disrupt the spread of the COVID-19. And if we don't observe those non-pharmaceutical measures, we will actually be aiding this, but it must be fundamentally disrupted. So we've got to make sure that we encourage our people to stick to this. The active cases in our province are above 13,000 at 89% recovery rate, but at more than 60 people dying. I think over the last days, if not 7 days, it has been actually At that average of about 60 days over the last 24 hours, people dying. So it tells you that our numbers of people who are succumbing is going up. And the more people get into hospitals, hospitalized, the more chances of some of them succumbing are high. So it's a very painful thing that it needs our commitment to redouble our effort in ensuring that we stop this spread of this virus. The fact that you are vaccinated does not mean you are safe. If vaccination is not a cure, it's just something to aid our bodies and our immune system to be able to mitigate the effects or the catastrophic effects of this virus. At least we have chances of surviving, but many people have died who have been vaccinated. So that's why we must take this issue very serious of COVID-19. It only means you are protected from serious illnesses. If there are public servants who have not taken their jab, we urge them to do so, particularly the male colleagues. We had a campaign where we're trying to encourage and mobilize men to come forward to vaccinate. The numbers of males who are vaccinated are very low, and that is a great concern for us. Amadoda mawangahambeli phambili kwezinye izinto ingakumbi ezingendawo acothe kwizinto ebekufanele uba ayagqama kuzo. Kwale nto baside sibe nekhampeyini yokhuthaza ootata ixelela nje uba ikho nto egqwethekileyo, because we are in a war. This is a war. You need warriors. It should not really be that you can't understand that when we're dealing with this disaster, this COVID-19, we'll still have men who would still be persuaded to go and take vaccine and continue creating all these conspiracy theories, which are actually a distortion and misleading. So we're really appealing to all men, and you go to your community as a role model of the community, demonstrate it to them, show them, go out and vaccinate. So we are really pleading on that. Let us go all out to make a final push of serving our people to close the year on a very high. Njengezicaka ke zoluntu bendike ndatsho ngaphambili, siqeshelwe ukusebenza samkele imivuzo. Kuba ngumvuzo xa ubizwayo kuba uyavuzwa ngomsebenzi owenzileyo. Akakho umuntu ovuzwa nje engenzanga nto. Yenziwa apha urhulumente qha loo nto. Asiqeshelwanga kwamkela sisebenze. Le uba uthi ufika bese unikwa isalari ungekazwa noba uyawazi noba uyawubamba noba ubhekwa ngaphi yingxaki. Eyokuqala kokuba siyazi uba siqeshelwe ukusebenza samkele imivuzo. Asiqeshelwanga kwamkela imivuzo then sisebenza after samkele. Let's internalize that at all material times. It's going to be part of our renewal agenda in the province in inculcating this new culture in the public administration. DJ ndiyaphinda. Ukuba uya kwa-Mercedes-Benz nakwa-Volkswagen ufike phaya uripotelwa u-HR wapha apha thina siripota u-99.9% presence wabasebenzi in a year. But when you go to government, you talk about 52% of workers who are on sick leave. But these are same people who are working at Mercedes-Benz are staying in Duncan Village, are staying in Mdantsane, are staying in Zwelitsha, similarly to Aba Senabo. Aba Senabo abasebenzi are more covered even than those with medical aids, everything that government can offer to workers. So it says it's not really an issue of workers other than us who are leading in government. We've got to work very hard in creating conducive environment for every employee to always wake up looking forward to go to work. We must make workplaces a place where someone is able to discover him or herself and actually discover his or her potential. But if we make workplaces hell, and people will never look forward to go to work, and people will always forever creating excuses, sick leaves after sick leaves, and government must continue paying. So we as leadership, part of this transformation that we're talking about, inculcating a new culture, is to create conducive environment for everyone. And we have got systems in place. You can't really be looking after people. Systems help you to guide everyone to work. So HODs, we've got a lot of work to do to improve on what has been done already, just to make that we get the best out of the employees of government. Relatively, we've got young people who are in government who should really be much more productive than what we are seeing. So I want to say the problem is not necessarily with employees, it is with us. It is with us. And we must create that conducive environment for our people to really showcase their capabilities and their talent in serving our people. Thank you very much, Program Director. Thank you very much to everyone for the opportunity. Ngos.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier, for the marching orders that you have given us and for the motivating words for us to do more to implement the programs of government and to respond to the challenges of the people. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Mr. Van Zeydam, can you then flight briefly the program for the month whilst Dr. Naledi Mbude is preparing herself to come forward? Can you flight the program for the month just to give a sense? The Public Service Month is going to be celebrated throughout this month through a number of activities that have been planned. Amongst those is the national launch that is going to be addressed by the President tomorrow on the 3rd. And where all departments are expected also to join that one as well, in the same way that we have done today in our provincial launch. The national launch of the Public Service Month is tomorrow. We have a number of other activities that have been sponsored by the other departments throughout the month. DESRAC has sponsored the sign language. There's going to be Kayedu, but we have the DG has asked us departments not to go big on some of the activities given the exposure to COVID-19 during this period. We are on 3rd wave, and therefore we need to be very, very careful, as the Premier has also cautioned us to be more careful. So departments are asked to ensure that these activities, they are adhered to the COVID-19 regulations. You can see that Department of Human Settlements, they'll also be handing over to communities that are destitute the awareness on economic opportunities by DDIT and the Eastern Cape Gambling Board. The Dr. Da will also be visiting certain areas, Flagstaff and Lusikseki, around the sterilization as well as vaccination of pets for rabies. The DDIT will also, and the ECDC will also be focusing on informal business and hawkers and cooperatives around Komani. DT will also be doing some environmental awareness and the planting of trees and Winnie Mandela local municipality in one of the schools. The dialogue on the consumer protector, the virtual dialogue as well on the local government elections that will be led by the Independent Electoral Commission, as well as the States SA. The National Book Week, led by DESRAG. The SMMEs and informal business from the 13th to the 17th, DT will be leading that program, especially in Joe Gabi and McLear. Proceed. We will also have various Kayedu programs led by DSD, especially in the Tusong centers. The housing handover as well for the elderly by Department of Human Settlements in Komani and in Debecha, in Krisani. The commemoration of the 31st anniversary of the Northern Areas Massacre on the 17th of September. So we have also infused the Heritage Month programs as part of this, and TESRAC will be leading those. The Northern Areas Massacre Sport Tournament on the 18th is planned, and the Heritage celebrations, and they'll be taking place in a number of regions, Krisane, Amatole, Alfred, Joe Gabi, and Sarah Padman. And they are listed in terms of the municipalities, the local municipalities. So DESRAC will also be leading in that area. Next slide. University of Fort Hare will also be having a partnership with the DESRAC and some of the, in fact, in the Heritage Tournament, especially in the area of Ngamakwe. There'll also be the spiritual cleansing as part of the Heritage, and there's a memorial lecture on the War of Mlanjeni, in line with what the Premier had requested, as well as the House of Traditional Leaders, that we need to celebrate our frontier wars and maybe target one frontier war per year, and to ensure that we promote this and profile our work. And there's also going to be some of the conferences that are going to be taking place in Fort Hare in partnership with DESRAC. Matatiel is also going to be focusing on young entrepreneurs and those that are venturing on the green economy. Next slide. There's also going to be a focus on by ECDC on SMMEs and cooperatives in Beckerstrop, Jamestown, Alwal North, especially in the area of Jogat, and as well as another focus by Dr. Da on the vaccination of animals, especially in the area of Mkanduli, the job preparedness workshop focusing on intents from the 21st to the 25th of September, especially in OR Tambo, around Umtata. The Youth Directorate from the Office of the Premier will be leading that. We'll also be discussing the opportunities for financial support to women in the rural areas. Matatiel is also featuring very strongly in partnership with DT. There are a number of other dialogue sessions that are going to be pursued. The National Dialogue on Ethics and Anti-Corruption, the information sharing also on the pension fund and related matters, as well as the heritage celebration will be on the 24th. That Desrak will be leading on that one. But most importantly is the issue of the assessment of the implementation of the Batupili revitalization strategy, which is at the heart of the public service month, and also at the heart of how we should be delivering our services as the public servants. Ubatupili, people first. That's the attitude that we need to adopt at all times. The World Tourism Day, the citizens-based monitoring that is going to be led by the DSD, the issuing of title deeds by Department of Human Settlements at Ristine PSM, and the National SMS Conference on the 29th of September. And OTP is going to be coordinating that, but all departments are expected to join that. These are some of the programs that we have put together for this month. I felt that I just needed to give just that brief summary of how our program stands for the whole of the month. But we need to ensure that as part of that, we also adhere to the COVID-19 regulations. So that's how our program stands. Honorable Premier, MECs, HODs, and ladies and gentlemen. So without much ado, let me now request Dr. Naledi Mbude, the HOD of the Department of Education, to come forward and thank everybody that has graced this important session. Over to you, Doc.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Premier of the Province, Honorable MECs, the DG of the Province, the commissioners amongst us, the officials of the department, the HODs of the various departments, General Njinga, all protocols observed. I do not want to miss out anyone as I come in to offer the vote of thanks for this session. One of the most important things about today is the fact that it reminds us of our responsibility, of why do we have today as a special day. I would like to thank, and I am humbled by the fact that I have been asked to do the vote of thanks. The aims of the Public Service Month are outlined. I really want to express what the Honorable Premier just said now about what Shalom Tiger said in terms of building the capacity of the state through a resilient workforce that responds to the coronavirus pandemic now. We do know that at the time that Shalom Tiger said this, we did not have COVID-19. We are therefore challenged in our service delivery because we have to go out of our way to ensure that, like she said this many years ago, it still applies today. What is most important about being a public servant is the fact that she does say that the work is not for ourselves. Let us kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people, but live with them. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. The importance of these words, Honorable Premier and participants, is the fact that we always tend as public servants to think that we are in the jobs that we do because we are the best, which is a big mistake because it is the servitude that is required of us. That we need to recognize that it is not just about us, it is about us making sure that as we serve, we teach, we transfer skills, we learn from other people, and also the fact that we continue to do everything that we can to ensure that the public regards us as servants and not as celebrities or any other thing. I do want, Honorable Premier, to say that on behalf of the administrative leadership of the province, leading the public service, I do also want to add my congratulations to the departments that received a recognition today for this Public Service Month Award, including the Department of Education in the rollout of the vaccination plan that we did, particularly in collaboration with the Department of Health. On behalf of the Office of the Premier, I would therefore like to thank all the public servants in the province who tirelessly serve the province with pride and honor. The challenge, Honorable Premier and members, is that we always have to choose between what is the need and the right of people as we dispense and discharge our duties. Sometimes it is in contravention with the law. Now, when you have to discharge your duties fully aware and minding the fact that you must not put yourself or the department or government into disrepute, this chasm must be addressed. Because as things happen along the way, there are things that you must respond to immediately. And some of them sometimes are in direct contravention or undermined by the laws that are put out there. This is the chasm that sometimes affects and negatively impacts on service delivery. And as a province, we must reach that maturity where we talk openly about those things that make us not to move, because we are sometimes bothered or worried about the fact that what will be. And we must, as public servants, always be aware that it must not be at the expense of the law. And sometimes it does impinge on what our people are expecting us to do as public servants. But I want to thank the public servants who are the frontline workers during this pandemic, who tirelessly continue to serve with pride and honor. As we enter the Public Service Month, let us continue to display the Batupili principles as we tirelessly serve the people of the province. I thank you, Honorable Premier, and everyone else. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Naledi Mbude. I don't want to sound like the late Sabaga Mbitlan, to thank the person who has thanked others. Ndibulele ngobulela abanye abantu. Kodwa ke ndiyanyanzeleka njengo-program director ndikubulele ngokusibulele. I just want also to convey our appreciation as well to the provincial commissioner, the newly appointed deputy national commissioner, General Nching, for availing herself to be part of us, although yesterday. And some of us we could not be able to attend due to the cluster meetings that she has been part of, especially the social transformation cluster. So siyabulela kakhulu Commissioner ngokuzithoba kwakho ube part of this important session. We thank also the Commissioner, your province, your Public Service Commission is always with us. Kwangaba ngathi kungaziwa nobana uphangelela i-Public Service Commission okanye uphangelela thina, because usoloke lapha phakathi kwethu. Thank you very much once again, Sislulu. The leadership for Premier and the MECs for gracing this occasion, thank you very much once again. Sayibulela le ntsebenziswano nale support. We are going to be proceeding with our program throughout the month, ladies and gentlemen, as outlined earlier on. And we would like all departments, local government, that is municipalities, to also participate. We'll find a way of ensuring that there's a better participation in terms of the Public Service Month for local government, especially in the next Public Service Month. We'll have to discuss that on how we can really ensure that local government also participates fully in this program. Once again, thank you very much for everything and for attending and for also viewing this important session through the Facebook page of the department. In those not few words, I would like to adjourn this session. The session is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I know that abantu abalindele la myalezo ingathi semncwabeni woba ke abefundisi leadership sizawuya u8 corner, abanye bazawungena kolaqande then umndilili wonke usheke apha ententeni. Asinamndilili usheka ententeni bethuna nokuphindela emsebenzini.
Enkosi tisha. Siyabulela ngoba balethe bayiprogram iqhubhe ibe hour early. Ithethe ukuthi siqhuba kakuhle grid. Sisemcimbini.
Makuphindele emsebenzini benomunye uPremier ngeli xesha. Yema sinenza izingaka nje.
DDG. Abacima i-recording abantu barekhoda iphumile i-meeting. DDG qase.
Madam.
Ingxaki ngisekenziwa apha mntakwethu kandilale ndipreparishe ispeech ndizothetha apha. Premier wandikhupha.
And ke thina besikulungisile besinde sakulungisa ndiyivile loo nto ndiyiva kusasa nje loo nto leyo uba awusekho zeprogramming.
Yini ungalaleka ndirihesa.
Yiyo loo nto ndiqoma mandike ndikusikele.
Hayi ndikubonile nje hluba ayandizama.
Ndiyakubona mandikuzame.
You caught me unread. You almost found me in the loop.
Hayibo emama ngithethe inyani kaloku apha kwaba. Thethe inyani.
Unisebenzi ulikhuphile.
Ubone inyani ithethwe ndim.
Kodwa ungandikhupha ngo-X kwa enangxaki into undikhupha iprogram manje.
Uthi mphathiswa leyo program is nothing.
Njengomema amancuso wathwala ezaqhiya zamampondo ngathi uzosina nje ulungele lo mcimbi nyani.
Premier i-heritage month namhlanje so ngoba hayi xa ndizovela esifilimu ake ndithi vela mampondo kakuhle. Ngambona uhlube endizama okwandithi nje
uxolo mama.
Ndachaneka ndafana nogadi ndazuba ndikhona.
It was not intentional.
No, it's fine, Premier. Thank you so much.
Enkosi kakhulu Khade.
Ndiyabulela Belazo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ndiyabulela singamagosa karhulumente.
Yes.
Yeah.
Akaphindele emsebenzini amagosa besenethemba loba azawuchitha apho olusuku.
Uzogxininisa ke loo nto uyithethayo phaa ku-HOD waseCocta abuyele ofisini yakhe.
Unento engabuyeliyo. Mr. Fan. Usekhona?
Andiqondi busekhona.
Ayasemkile. Semkile. Mr. Sotan. Mr. Lawrence Van Zydam, thank you very much for the organization of the session and Ms. Ngwendu and the team that was working on this.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, DDG, for also being a program director. And also thank you to Fikiso and the team and to all the other participants. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Flo.
But please, Lawrence, don't submit this when you are claiming performance that you have done well. Don't submit this. Come up with other things, not this one.
Not this one.
This is a routine thing. This is a routine thing.
Yeah.
This is a 3.
Expected to do this.
You have done well on this one, but come up with other things.
This is a 3. Maybe because we managed to finish an hour earlier, maybe it's a 4. We were very effective.
Yeah. Well done, colleagues.
Thanks a lot for your support as well, DG. As always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.